Well, good morning. It's so great to have everyone here, and we're so glad to be joined by some of the folks who were at our breakfast and some of the folks who are here now. So we're really grateful to be with you all together this morning. These are the times when we need one another, so welcome to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm the Reverend Leslie Takahashi, and my pronouns are she and her. So we want to welcome you to our sanctuary, whether you're joining us in person or you're online on our live stream today. It's a special welcome if you're visiting us or, as we have a number of folks, back after an absence. So we're really grateful to have everyone here. If you are wanting to be able to get in touch with us, find out what else we're doing here, please be sure to sign a visitor's card either online or in the Borton Hall after the service. Today is our Commitment Sunday, and if you feel so moved, you can make one of the commitments of membership, which is a financial pledge. There's a pledge box on the back table, which will also be in the hall after the service. I want to say I am deeply grateful to all the musicians who are participating in today's service, and I'm particularly really honored to introduce to you Sarah Jebian, who is joining us as our temporary music director for today. Sarah will be with us for much of the month of April, and this involves braving the dreaded traffic coming up from the south on 680. So another round of applause, please, for Sarah. So we are so grateful, and I want to also mention that we've sent out some extra emails about Winter Nights, which is coming up. It's one of our most important ways that we offer sanctuary to our larger community, so please do sign up today if you can, and welcome to this beloved community.
Good morning. I'm Mark David Watanabe. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm a member of your board of trustees. Welcome to our service. We begin our services by reading our mission together. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. Now, you already know that today is our Commitment Sunday, and it was really great to see a lot of you at our Beacon breakfast just before the service. This is a time we renew and honor our commitments to this community that brings us so much. Our ministers and staff, beautiful buildings, and campus cannot operate without financial support. Many things are happening in the world, but it can be hard to focus on something that might seem fairly insignificant, such as providing the resources that keep this congregation running. But if you think about what's been happening these past few years, and especially these last few months, MDUUC has been a lifeline for many and a part of a network of support. The board is asking you to pledge today here by putting a card in the box or in Borton Hall or online on the pledge page. However, we recognize that this is a time of economic insecurity, more clearly and definitively for some more than others right now. So we're asking people to step up as they can so that we can continue to provide this place of sanctuary in all senses of the word. So on this very special Sunday, welcome. It is essential that we are together.
Good morning. I am Linda Russell, a member of your Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. This morning's chalice reading comes from the UU Worship Web, Making Aspirations Real. We light this chalice, the symbol of our faith, knowing that this morning many others across this land and around the world are doing the same. For us and for our far-flung kin, it is a light of peace, of justice, and of love. But without work, these aspirations flicker out as soon as the candle is extinguished. Let us all join together to accept the challenge of doing the hard work that makes these aspirations real.
And now I would like to invite those who are young or young at heart to join me up front. I need your help today. We have a little thing we're doing. We also have people in the sanctuary who are helping us too. Remember, your words are color-coded. That will be your cue. Yeah, good color coding. It's amazing. It's also rainbow if anyone cares. So today, we are going to talk about a few things that make our church special. I like to think of this as a big kind of home away from home for us. Sometimes we call it a sanctuary. And when we're here, we are often experiencing so many different things. We all have our personal lives that we bring here, and those are all the things that we hold dear to us in our heart. And sometimes we call those things values, right? So it's kind of like, I think of these scientists that are out in the world that are collecting all of the seeds that are important to our world for various crops and plants that might be at risk of extinction. And they store all of those seeds inside of a thing called a seed bank. Raise your hand if you've heard of a seed bank. Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, now you have. Raise your hand if you've heard of a seed bank. Great. So this is a place where all of those important plants are held and preserved. I kind of think of this as our kind of virtue or value seed bank, where we want to keep all of those values that are important to us.
In our sanctuary, we cherish learning as a way we grow into the values that we hold dear. Today, our various seeds for the value of learn were passed out to some of you, and we are hoping that if you received any words that were in blue, that you would read them aloud for all of us to hear.
Transformation.
We believe in transformation. We believe in the importance of facts. We believe in multi-generational learning from everyone, young and old. Now, I would like everybody to rise in body or spirit and strike a learning pose. Show me a learning pose. I would suggest, I see a hand on the chin. I see some hands on hips, maybe a slanted hip for some of us that have a little extra attitude today. Nice, nice. Show me those learning poses.
Very nice learning poses, my friends. Now, in our sanctuary, we believe that care and community are ways that we actually live our values. So some of the seeds for the value of care and community were passed out. And if you received any words that are red, I invite you to call them out so we can all hear them. We believe in sharing what we have with each other. We believe in holding happiness and sadness together. We believe in honoring people's identities. And we believe that people can learn across differences. Now, are we ready for our second value pose? You're going to need to rise in body and spirit. I don't know why you sat down. Stand up. All right, so let's get a care and community pose, maybe a hand over your heart, maybe extend your arm out. Show me your best care and community pose. Gorgeous people, gorgeous.
That's great. Great care and community poses. One of the other values that we hold dear in our sanctuary is the value of justice as the way that we act from our values. So again, some of you add those seeds of justice. They are green. So if you have a green phrase, I invite you to read that out loud for us. We believe that everyone deserves a voice. We believe that our actions matter. We work for democracy. We deserve, everyone deserves access to basic needs, yes. So now it's time to embody our justice. Again, little aerobic today. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. And this time we're going to do our speaking out pose, or one of your choice. Cup your hands around your mouth and call out fairness and justice. Fairness and justice. Ah, that was good.
So in our sanctuary, good job with the fairness and justice. In our sanctuary, we believe that spirituality and worship are ways we deepen our values. So we have some seeds that were passed out for the value of spirituality and worship. If you received any orange words, it's time for you to read them out for us to hear. Orange words. We believe in the power of joy. Yes. Yes. We believe in growing spiritually. If you haven't read it yet, you need to read it now. We believe in considering what has worth. We believe in the power of love. And we're also really happy to see Elsie Mills. We believe in accepting people as they are as part of our spiritual growth. Wonderful. All right, so this is it, folks. You're not going to stand up for a while. This is it. Rise in body or spirit for our final pose. Let's show our spiritual connection. You can place your hands over your heart. You can close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel the love and the joy of our community.
All right. So thank you for everyone who helped with this to make this day special, where we are thinking about our values. And I'm now going to invite us all to sing our youth out to the religious time together, which today I heard includes a bouncy house.
All right, please join me in singing Good Enough by Leah Morris as our children and youth walk out to their activities. My hands are strong enough, they're strong enough, and I'm good enough. My hands are strong enough to give love.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you this morning. My name is Rose Rydell. My pronouns are she, her, and I have the joy of serving as your intern minister. We gather this morning grateful for the values that we hold dear. Ours is a faith that asks questions, that seeks wisdom in many places, and that honors the unfolding journey of understanding. We are a people who believe revelation is not sealed, that truth is not fixed, but ever emerging in the shared work of curiosity and compassion. Today, I am celebrating our shared value of learning and the ways learning shapes us all, as individuals, as a congregation, and as a religious community committed to growth. Whether we are discovering new ideas, unlearning old prejudices, or deepening our spiritual practices, we are engaging in the holy act of transformation. And I am especially mindful this morning of the profound gift it is to serve a congregation that invests in the learning and development of new ministers. Your willingness to walk alongside those who are still growing, to offer patience, feedback, and encouragement is a testament to the love at the heart of this community. Ministry is not a solitary endeavor. It is a relational craft, honed in the company of generous souls who believe in the promise of shared growth. So let us worship together with gratitude for the teachers among us, for the courage to be beginners, and for the wisdom that emerges when we learn side by side. May we be reminded that every voice, every question, and every moment of insight is part of the sacred tapestry of our collective journey. Let us open our hearts to the spirit of discovery. Come, let us worship together.
I know you know this song already. So this is your chance to sing. This boat is steady. This boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. We all know hardship. We all know pain. But nothing ventured means nothing gained. And every rainbow, it needs the rain. You're not alone, try again. 'Cause this boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. Even if you've been tempest-tossed, even if you feel that all is lost, you've heard the thunder roar, had a look at heaven's door. If you're sinking like a stone, this boat will carry you home. 'Cause this boat is steady, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. In this boat, There's nothing we can't do if we do it together, no matter the weather. No matter that the charts aren't ours, we will navigate by our stars. Come on, y'all. This boat is steady. This boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. This boat is steady. Oh, this boat is sure. When you're ready, climb aboard. When you're ready, grab an oar. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore. This boat will carry us to the farthest shore.
I don't know whether to cry or smile or that was great. That was great. But interestingly enough, this is the time where we invite you to feel your feels as community. We're gathering in this sacred space at this sacred time to witness together all of those joys and sorrows in our lives and our greater world. Our faith movement calls us to understand the deep, deep threads of connection that we have among all of us, even those maybe not present in the Unitarian Universalist tent. Today, we light candles to symbolize our awareness of the deep connection as we lift up those sorrows we face and the hopes we nurture. So I'm asking for candles to be lit for each of these, our collective sorrows. For democracy under threat, as we witness the rise of authoritarianism and the erosion of voting rights. For those whose lives are threatened by deportation and the unfunding of needed medical treatments. For those who fear for their safety because of their identity, whose physical existence is no longer secure in our society. For women whose reproductive autonomy and the right to make the decisions about their own bodies have been torn apart. For federal and academic workers facing uncertainty and hostility in the service of our own common good. For families with children whose public education and welfare are being undermined. For all who worry about the erosion of public health systems that are supposed to protect our communities. For our elders who witness the unraveling of progress they have worked their whole lives for. For our children and young people who are desperately hanging on to hope for a future that all too frequently seems out of reach. For the urgent climate crisis and environmental degradation that threatens our planet's ecosystem. For continuing racism, xenophobia, and all systems of oppression that divide our human family. And for those whose livelihood was so under threat, they were convinced in the charisma of leaders who seek to relinquish our democracy to greed and monetary gain. I ask now for candles of our collective hope to be lit. For those who have worked tirelessly for changes that will prolong the life of this planet. For this community that provides sanctuary in times of joy and in times of loss. for those struggling with health issues and addiction who find support in our beloved community, for our children, youth, and young adults who deserve a world of possibility and justice, for this place where our children are free to learn healthy values about being full beings, including sexual beings, for communities organizing at local levels to protect the vulnerable and create resilient systems of care, for the persistent work of telling truth that makes healing and reconciliation possible. And finally, I ask for 2 final candles to be lit. The first representing all of those joys and sorrows not yet spoken but present here in our collective hearts. And the second, a bright reminder of our one imperfect, broken yet beautiful, struggling yet resilient world, a world that we are all a part of and to which we owe our loving service and healing presence. And may, as our time comes to an end in this ritual, may we remember the words of Julian of Norwich in these times, who reminds us that even in the worst of times, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well.
Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn 403, Spirit of Truth, of Life, of Power. This hymn from 1825 was based on texts from the Psalms.
Spirit of truth, of life, of power, we bring ourselves as gifts to thee. Oh, bind our hearts this sacred hour in faith and hope and charity.
Thank you. Please be seated.
I'm going to invite you to join me in a brief heart-to-heart with all that is holy and sacred. And whatever name you give to it, I invite you to call it out in the sanctuary of your own heart, invited into this sanctuary of presence. Just the opportunity to gather together is an act of taking sanctuary. So let us with gratitude summon the messengers who have carried the seeds of our values over the years. Some of them are people in our combined and shared faith history, and some of them are individuals whose journey brought your journey here with us today. So whisper their names to the secret places of your own souls. We are here because of those who over hundreds of years refused to give up the seeds they knew could lead to liberation in this life on this precious planet. Those who carried seeds through times when no fertile soil was evident, times when water was scarce and the conditions for bud and leaf and flower were not present. Those who planted seeds in communities which, like this one, provided the soil of community and the water of faith. Those who persisted, resisted conformity to hate and fear so that we could be here today, holding seeds in our own warm palms and wondering what to plant and what to save and how to be one another's soil and water. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. May flourishing and courage wholeness, persistence, and stubborn determination to believe in the possibility of human transformation take root here again today, and tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. And may we be the ones to help make it so.
It dawned on me as I came in this morning and you were singing the first song, the gathering song, and I began to hear people clapping. And what dawned on me was a service, not even a service, but sitting in the chapel at Asilomar, at a Stebbins Institute. Way back, we gathered to watch a rehearsal of people who were going to be performing later in the evening. And they were gathered around a piano, and someone was leading them in the singing of the blues of Frankie and Johnny. And he was asking them to clap, and I started to clap as they were singing Frankie and Johnny were lovers. And suddenly they stopped cold. And the director said, if we can't clap in time, please hold your silence. And it was then that I realized that I was the only black person in the room and that I was clapping on 2 and 4. And everybody else was clapping on 1 and 3. And that's maybe when the principle dawned on me that the greatest difference between the races was that you clap on 1 and 3 and we clap on 2 and 4. And to show how much progress is going on in this church, you guys are clapping on 2 and 4. Can you imagine how much progress that represents to people like me? And that may be only the first rule of absurdity. It's also true that this is where I grew up as a young young mother, when I was in a hostile community where our family was the only family in the Diablo Valley, and beside the Watkins families, who were of color, where we were living with death threats, and nobody knew it. That hostile climate I was rescued from by David Borton, who followed me to a meeting at Gregory Gardens when I had determined, after living in this situation for about 3 years, that I was going to save the couple who'd moved into Gregory Gardens of color, because I had lived through that, and my neighbors had lived through it, and they were going to get over it, and I was going to attend their Improvement Association meeting and tell them that it was all going to be over with, that they just took their time. And David, a member of this fellowship at that time, read a letter that I'd written to the editor of the local newspaper defending that young couple's right to live in Gregory Gardens. And he contacted me. And I told him I was going to go to that meeting, which was, I think, going to be held the next night out at Gregory Gardens. And he said that you can't do that, Betty, because they're going to hurt you. And I said, no, they're not, because people don't say those nasty things if you're sitting there. They only say them behind your back. Only I didn't realize that my racial ambiguity would not afford me that disguise. And I went to that meeting. David was in the audience, so I didn't know who he was at the time. Sat in the meeting, waiting for my turn to speak. Only no one recognized me as a woman of color. And they went on with their meeting, and I heard the awful things for the very first time in my life. when someone got up and said, if we can't get them out any other way, we can use the health department on the basis of the filthy diseases they bring into the community. And at that point, I could no longer stand it, and I got up and walked up the aisle and to the front of the room, and I said, I cannot sit here any longer eavesdropping. You need to know I'm here, and I'm one of the undesirables, unquote, that you're speaking about. And I went on with my spiel and got about 10 minutes in trying to defend that couple's right to be there, and panicked about 10 minutes in. Got up and ran out of the auditorium. David followed me out to the car in the dark. He said, I am David Borton. I'm with the Unitarian Universalist, well, at that point, Unitarian movement. And he said, there are others here, and we want you to know that we're with you. That was my introduction to this fellowship. I became a member shortly thereafter of the families who were gathering here, forming the fellowship that began this church.
I'm so excited to share your beautiful choir with you. Thank you for the invitation to be with you. We're going to sing Your Hand in Mine, which was written by Betty, and we're very excited to sing for you, right? Yeah? Okay. Great. Here we go.
We gather here, I feel you near. On this beautiful night, your hand in mine, this simple sign of love. We span the miles, we wear the smiles born of sharing this day. Your hand in mine, this simple sign of love. Oh, your fears must not be left behind. The spaces between, let our love go free. This moment be as one. We've traveled far from beyond a star, along paths of our lives, till we found our way in this lovely day. Now here, in our hearts we know, peace on earth can grow from these fingers, love warm. Your hand in mine, this simple sign of love. Your hand in mine, this simple sign of
Thank you, choir. Excuse me, I'm a little verklempt. My name is Kevin Shea. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. I've been here since 1999. I am honored to say that I know Betty Reed Soskin. Met her. I remember being in the sanctuary, and I saw her sitting somewhere around there in the back and looking over and saying, that is someone important. I need to go say hi. My friends, new and old, these are troubled times. I don't need to tell you that. But we've been through them before. We just heard Betty Reed talk about troubled times when she was here. I was thinking about the troubled times in 1965 when Martin Luther King Jr. called upon people of faith to join him for the march from Selma to Montgomery. Our own minister, Reverend Dr. Aaron Gilmartin, joined him on that march. It was that time that 2 UUs were martyred. Those were troubled times. And we have troubled times today. But there is also joy. And I have faith. And I have hope. This is MDUUC's 74th year. Next year it will be 75. And we will continue to be here with your support of our values. It is our values what keeps us here and keeps us relevant and keeps us marching to see the photos of people at the march and protests yesterday and the ones we will do in the future. But we can only do that if you show up with your bodies, show up with your funds. Because this is not free. Freedom is not free. And we know that now more than ever. The ushers will come forward with an offering. If you're joining us online, you can give with the yellow offering button or the orange pledge button. Thank you.
the peace movement. It had to come, and we worked so hard. But when we decided, Dan and I worked with the Peace Center right here in the church, and that was, I threatened to take one of his friends. Dan was not eligible for the draft. And his friends were, of course. And so we offered to take him and his friend to Canada. And we got as far as getting permission to leave, but fortunately we got the government to give him a deferment.
Among my many community involvements was a major commitment to Planned Parenthood. I'd had a long-standing involvement with them back to Cincinnati when I founded an abortion counseling service before Roe v. Wade. And Planned Parenthood was one of our allies. In fact, they wouldn't touch abortion, but they sent their people to us. And we sent them to doctors across the country who were willing to do this. So I had a long association with Planned Parenthood, and I was asked to be on their board here. Their executive was a Unitarian, so she was willing to have one of her kind on board and get over the fears of her other board members and staff about ministers who they all thought were of the evangelical sort. And that was a major commitment of mine. I loved that work and stayed at it until finally I was president of their board. So that was sort of the kinds of things that went on. The other thing that was a very significant involvement for me, and this is a part of the actual history of this church, was our involvement in opposing the U.S. Support of wars in Central America. And a member of our church, Dottie Stone, had gone to Central America. She had gone to Nicaragua and El Salvador. And we had another church member who was a member of the board of an organization called the East Bay Sanctuary Covenant, which supported refugees. And she got me involved with that organization as well. And eventually, this church sponsored a Guatemalan refugee family here on our grounds. We used a house trailer that had been given to a disabled member of the church who had passed on, and supported that family, not just them, but all their extended family, as it turned out, for many months before we were finally able to resettle them in a Guatemalan community in the city.
There's a tree on the ridge overlooking Walnut Creek behind the church, an olive tree. My father took a cutting from an olive tree in our front yard in Pittsburgh, which is just over the hill from Walnut Creek, very close by. And he planted it next to the chapel on the base of the Concord Naval Weapons Station, where we were transshipping munitions and arms to our proxy wars in Central America, including white phosphorus, which is nasty, nasty stuff, which we're buying white phosphorus for Israel to use on Palestinian civilians. Anyway, so we were protesting the wars on the tracks there, and so my father was able to get onto the base and plant this tree, and it came to be dedicated as a tree of peace in a ceremony led by the commander of the base. And when they went to decommission the base, friends of mine went in and got it and planted it here and put some of my folks' ashes in. And so when I want to commune with my folks, I simply go around to the back of the church and there they are. And my father being a Jew, olive tree has historical significance with Jews, and particularly Jews in that region.
So many stories and so many more that need to be told. When I first came to MDUUC, this state was in the middle of confronting Prop 8. And one of my first acts, many of my first acts, were the ones in this sanctuary to offer sanctuary to those who had watched their rights be given, and taken away again. And I remember one of our young people stood up at that time and said, I think there's something wrong with my family because they keep taking away our right to be a family. And we became a place where phone banks were held in these very chairs to make sure we could do everything we could around that proposition. And after that, there was 30 people who traveled to the border to protest the egregious acts at the border there in 2010. There have been so many other pieces of moving with the Black Lives Matter movement, so many other movements. But what I want to say about that is this, that this is a sanctuary, and we're so fortunate to have what I think is one of the most beautiful Unitarian Universalist sanctuaries in the country, and I've been to a lot of them. But what I think we're more fortunate to have is this wider sense of sanctuary that we carry with us out into the world in so many little acts, in so many ways that we offer one another comfort and protection. And we did that for Betty Reed. I remember when I first came here, people said to me, you must go sit with Betty Reed, Soskin. So I journeyed over where she was working at that time at the Rosie the Riveter Museum. She retired a few years ago as the country's oldest National Park Service ranger. And we sat outside in the breezy air, and she told me what was what and how I should behave. So I was well schooled. Made it all these years. Thank you, Betty Reed. You know, I think a lot now as we come up on this almost 75th year, the year that we're actually raising the budget for right now, it will be the 75th year of programming for this congregation. And I hope there'll be 75 more after that as well. But in 1951, when that small group of people began to meet in living rooms to explore their ideas and their values, ones which in the society of their times in this particular county, they had not many other places they could really talk about them out loud. So very few probably realized that they would be creating this serene and bustling 5-building campus and an entire calendar full of programs and so much joy and parties, so many protests, so many marriages, so many celebrations of life, lessons taught, and youth activities, that there'd be so many gatherings and good conversations that allowed our whole community to teach values to one another, not just what we talk about teaching values to our children, but allowing, as happened last week, our younger people to teach us a few things, right? There's so many ways that we've been together that they could not have anticipated. These founding people were less concerned with their fate in some next world. They were more concerned about this one. So as the years passed by, as we saw, they found themselves testing those beliefs on real-world issues. And guess what, my friends? We're there again, aren't we? And how? Whatever might change in hairstyles or musical forms, the opportunities to test what one believed against the issues of one's time didn't seem to stop. You know, it's great that we believe in being present in this world. That doesn't mean it's always easy. Those people believed with all their hearts in values that were passed down generation to generation in this experiment of being more welcoming, more inclusive, and expanding the view of who we see as human. And we're still at it, all these decades later. I wonder how many of you were on the streets yesterday witnessing to your own values or supporting someone who was. So you can see a little show of hands there. Yeah, I figured there were quite a lot. We saw some of them, yeah. Probably some other cities that we didn't get in our slideshow today. But we understand that in these hard times, being together really makes a difference. And the songs, like the one that the choir shared so well from Betty's repertoire, sings of a place where we understand that we're better together, that we're better when we're together, your hand in mine. Earlier this year, Linda Russell and I touched base with Betty Reed Soskin's life again when we made a trip to Oakland, to a library in Oakland, to attend a small screening of the early takes of a new film about Betty's life that's going to come out, we hope, in some years. The film isn't as much about her work at Rosie the Riveter, though that's what the director originally thought he would be making a film about. It turns out it was her music, the songs she wrote, in the years when she lived over here in a place where she was often lonely and scared. Songs long forgotten that she pulled out of a closet to show that filmmaker who thought they spoke to the issues of today and is in the process of raising the money to make a film about that. That's what we talk about when we mean a seed bank for our values, right? It's all those little ways that sometimes we have them out and proud in front of us, and sometimes we're holding them closer. And we don't know what this time is yet, but we know we can do both. Because this is a sanctuary community. Not just a place of sanctuary, though we have one of the most beautiful places of sanctuary that we offer to ourselves and to others in our community. But it's a place where we practice being sanctuary, where we practice offering sanctuary to one another when we need it, where we welcome people as they are, regardless of race, gender identity, sexual orientation. Through so many different ways, we have sanctuary practices that we take out into the world. I've been here long enough to understand that sometimes we're blessed to have people stay for a very long time, like Deb Baltzo, or Rowena McGregor, or some of our other elders who are here today. And sometimes people just kind of pass through for a little while, and both are really good. Ron Elsden, who did all that beautiful filming for us, and his wife Linda have decided they want to go back to their Christian roots, so they're worshiping across town now. But look at what a great gift they left us with those interviews. There are cycles of birth and death, and also larger rhythms of life. But what we know is that we touch one another here in ways that matter, and that we receive from one another here in ways that matter. So in honor of all who have come before us, and in honor of all here now, and in honor especially of those searching to find us in this time, let us take a moment to reflect on this community, this place where we can be together, your hand in mine, my hand in yours, and where we can continue to build an ethic, a value of sanctuary, a place where we practice sanctuary, where we keep guarding the seeds, singing the songs. If there was ever a time when we need to double down and do it right, it's now. Thank
you. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing song, Love Will Guide Us. Sally Rogers is a public elementary school teacher, touring folk musician, and songwriter whose works promote justice, unity, and peace. Here we go. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot
take a moment because it has been a wonderful morning. Do you agree? And sometimes when we put on these wonderful mornings, it's a little bit harder on some wonderful people. So I want to thank everyone who has provided music for us today, and especially, yes, and Sarah, yes, and Sarah, having Sarah with us, and Nasa, and Brett, as always, everyone, our choir, and we're just so grateful, and Bill, yes, and we have a new drummer with us this morning as well. And I need to say, we also need to thank our tech staff, because working this thank you both, because Liam and Nathan, because trying to work tech in 2 different buildings at one time is not the easiest thing. But most of all, as we say the words of our benediction, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to be here together. And I hope before you leave, you'll meet a few more people that you haven't met. Those of you that are interested, several of you came up to me where we're in the offertory and signing our book today. We will do that in the fellowship hall in about 15 minutes. But here are our words, and they come from one of our theologians from the 1950s, Henry Nelson Wyman, who said, "Religion is committing oneself with the kind of self-giving called faith to what one holds to be the source of all human good, to serve it above all." Let us take the seeds of our values and let's sow them out in this world. And let us do so always in the spirit of peace.